OBSBOT have really made a name for themselves with their webcams and PTZ cameras, all powered by smart AI tracking for direct recording and live streaming. More importantly, their range of connectivity options is impressive. Whether you prefer wireless, NDI, SRT, RTMP or hardwired connections, OBSBOT has it all covered. And this makes their gear very popular with creators, commercial users and broadcasters, whether they're using a simple setup or a complex multi-camera arrangement. But what about connecting everything for your production or live stream? Well, that's where you need a reliable switcher and studio to record, encode, monitor and control your setup without a hitch. Enter the OBSBOT Talent. This gadget not only connects all your devices seamlessly, but it also gives you versatile input and output options that allows you to live stream to 2 destinations at once. Plus, its video editing features make creating professional quality content very easy and very straightforward. Hello, and welcome to the Whirly Bloke channel. Big shout out to OBSBOT for loaning me this talent. I've previously reviewed their Taylor PTZ cameras, and I even created a tutorial on how I connected them using NDI here in the workshop. So when they reached out to see if I wanted to check out their latest product, I jumped at the chance. The OBSBOT Talent made its debut at the NAB show 2024 and isn't available to the public just yet, so I feel incredibly lucky to get my hands on it early. Essentially, this is an all-in-one multicam live streaming and production studio that's in a single device that's about the same size as a mobile phone, and that makes it very convenient and very portable. And it means you don't need a laptop, tablet or a separate monitor. It's a really simple and hassle-free setup. Now in the box you get an instruction manual, multi-language, and you also get power supply with the usual range of international plug adapters, and you also get this viewing hood here which clips on the top to reduce glare. I'll show you that in a minute. And there's a couple of these desktop stands for just standing it up on the desk. And one of the first things that you'll notice when you take it out of the box is the build quality. It feels like a premium product. This has got an aluminium alloy case. It's not made of a plastic moulding or anything like that. On the front, there's a 5.44 AMOLED FHD touchscreen, so that's 1920 by 1080, and it's adaptive, so the image will rotate landscape or portrait just like you're used to with your phone. On the back, there's 2 NP battery slots, so you don't need to worry about disconnections during live streaming. It supports both the AC power supply, which is in the box here, so you can plug it into an outlet, and you can hot swap these batteries. These are cheap and readily available, and pretty much we've all got these kicking around for powering our lights and so on. So as long as you've got enough of these batteries, you can live stream outdoors. So with dual power battery inputs, you get uninterrupted streaming with automatic switchover to a second battery if you've got one plugged in. If you're not using the batteries, there's a couple of these folding little brackets that sit on the back, if I can unfold them. So you can plug those in there. So you can just stand it up on the desk and have it however you want. Quite a nice way of doing things. Take that out. There's a clip on the side there to unlock those. There's also a 1/4-20 screw mount on the bottom, so you can just fit this to a tripod on the desk if you want to. There's also a built-in fan, and combined with this aluminium case, this keeps everything running nice and cool. The screen is 350 nits, so you may want to use this hood to reduce the glare if you're outdoors, and that just clips on over here. like that, if I can get it on. There we go. And there also is little gaps there so you can see the tally light. Very nice. Now, for such a small device that combines the encoder, switcher, recorder, monitor and controller, this has got an impressive range of inputs. There's 2 full-size HDMI Type A inputs here. There's 2 USB AV 3.0 inputs, one there and one there. You've also got an Ethernet port, and this supports NDI. So if you're using the Ethernet port, you can get your video and audio over the network, as well as control pan, tilt and zoom cameras like the tail airs. It also supports SRT and RTMP streams, and it allows output via Wi-Fi, 4G LTE, you can just plug a dongle in here, or Ethernet, up to 6 destinations pre-configured like Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, using RTMP or SRT protocols. So it's pretty comprehensive. Power switch on the side here, and the power LED that doubles as a tally light. And here you've got a 3.5mm unbalanced audio in, if you've got a separate audio input, and there's a headphone socket on the side there for monitoring the audio. And you plug DC power supply in here, and this USB-C is the main output, ready to connect to wherever you want it to go. External monitor, live stream destination, and so on. The output format is configurable, very configurable in fact, and it uses H.264 or 265 codecs up to 1080p and 60 frames a second. Now, as well as live streaming outputs, you can also record directly to the 64 gig of local storage that's built into here. There's also an SD card slot on the bottom that you can record to as well. And this allows you to transfer files, logos and so on, and graphics onto this device. Overall, a lot of inputs and outputs in something that is not much bigger than your phone. Let's get it fired up and see what it does. So I've got everything together so that I can demo the power and the flexibility of this tiny little box. I've got my Lumix G7 over here. Around the corner, I've got a Sony AX700. Up there is a Sony AX53. And then on the wired network, I've got 2 OBSBOT tail air PTZ cameras. And then down here, which you can't quite see yet, there's an external monitor which I'm going to be using for my main output. So let's start wiring things up and show you how this all works. Now if I plug that into HDMI 1, oops, yeah, there we go. And see that down there, see down there, I've got a camera up here. I've got a couple of OBSBOT tail airs as well. So here we can see that we've got HDMI 1 coming in on this feed down here. If I press that, that will go away. So there we go. And this is on the main output at the moment. Now I've got another AX700 camera over there, which I'll plug into HDMI 2, and hopefully we should get something else. So we swap over to there. There we go. That's my workstation just round the corner. And then what have we got? Okay, I've got a couple of OBSBOT tail airs connected to my network. So let's connect this up to my network, plug that in there, and we can just go over here. Let's just add something new. There's lots of different scenes that you can create, but I'm going to create a new NDI scene even. So let's search, and there's 2 tail airs which have got the OBSBOT USB 3 to NDI adapter connected. So let's pick this one here, and I've got this one tastefully outside on the network. I can see the dog down there. I can change its size and do all sorts of things, whatever I want to do, but I'm just going to save that as it is. Let's go over here and have a look. All looks very good. Now, there's a couple of things on here that are different from these cameras. So because this is a PTZ camera, if I click that, select PTZ, and this gives me control over the pan and zoom. I can do an arty shot up here like that. All very nice. Now, although I've got this wired at the moment, I could be doing this using Wi-Fi. As long as all the devices are on the same network with NDI, you're absolutely fine. I can start it recording, for example. There we go. That's recording onto the SD card on that particular tail air. Come out there. Let's add another NDI search in here. And hopefully I'll pick, yeah, that's the one that's over there. Hello. And I can save that. Let's bring that up and go to the PTZ settings and let's zoom in a bit so you can see me. Or a bit too far there. Back a bit. There we go. Bring that down. Hello. So there we go. Oh, I think what I will do with that is... No, that's okay. It's fine like that. And this has got the tracking on at the moment. Let's just turn that tracking off. Will it pick me up over here? Don't think it will, but you can see the tracking is turned on. Perhaps I should have turned that off before. Now, at the moment, the output is just going to this main screen here. You can see there's a nice fade between each of those. So G7, AX700 around the corner, and I've got an OBSBOT tail air there and an OBSBOT tail air here. All very nice. So the output is just going to this display at the moment. Now you can set this up to this main output here, and you can set different encoders to do whatever you want. And as you can see, the display is switched there, so I swap that packet. Just swivels around exactly like you get on your phone as you sort of used to using. Now over here, you won't be able to see this. If I go there, over here, I've got a monitor. So if I plug that in there, it should detect it. There we go. And I've got a number of options. It's actually come on now. I can see it over there. You'll see that in a second. Different views I can have. Duplicate screen, clean preview. I can do it an HDMI loop if I want to, or I can even swap the orientation. But we'll leave that as it is. And if you look on there, you can see it's coming out on that monitor. Very nice. So if I switch sources, well, you won't be able to see it now because it's looking at that monitor, but let's have a look at this one here. So if I pick it up, I should be seeing myself with tunnel vision. Fantastic. Now, there are so many things that you can do with this. I'm not going to be able to cover them all in this video, but let's just run through a few of them. So, as I said, the encoder on here, there's two separate encoders, and typically what you might want to do is to set up one encoder as a low bit rate, which you would then stream out via this USB-C here to a streaming supplier. And there's preset streaming configurations for things like Facebook, Twitch, and so on. And you just need to sign in with your account and you're up and ready to go. But you can also, for example, set another encoder which you use to take the output simultaneously and record at a high bit rate onto the internal storage or even onto the SD card down here. All very nice. But let's look and see what else we've got. So let's pick, here we go. This is the audio mixer. So we've got audio coming in for a couple of sources, coming in from the tail air. I don't think I've got it turned on that one, but that's coming on from the tail air, which is over to my left. And that's coming in, I don't think I've got any of the other ones turned on, but you'll get an audio source from here. You can mix those to get your audio levels however you want them. And then you've got a main slider there. All very clever. Now, here we've got a whole load of graphics. Now, I've got some preset ones. So, for example, I could bring up this breaking news, which is what you might want, particularly, for a news program or something like that. I've also got a timer down here. You can just turn that off like that, and there we go. You can see it's got a timer on the screen with the current times. Turn that off. And say you were covering sports. You've got a scoreboard. And at the moment, this is showing that it's 3-1 to the guests. And what we could do is, let's long press this. Long press it. There we go. And we go to edit. Oops, that goes to edit. I didn't want to do that. Cancel. Control. And this is scoreboard control. So I can say that the home team is now scored twice and it's 3-3, and that appears on the display. If we go over to, let's have a look. Ooh, too many buttons here. Let's turn off the graphics control and go back over to this view where you can see that the preview output is actually showing scoreboard at the bottom. All very nice. Let's leave that out of the way because that's really annoying. Okay, and if you look at the graphics, you can add, there's so many things. You can add a bullet list, your own logo, for example. I could add a logo. Just go to the SD card on here. Let's see, I've got my logo. That will do this. Make that a little bit smaller and bring that down there. Save. And then I can turn off that. And there we are. I've got my logo in the bottom left-hand corner. There's all sorts of things in here. Lower thirds, text, animated text, timers, and you can create custom ones. You can even get a web page up, provided this is connected to your network and to the internet, of course. Other things you can do, you can draw. Very good. You might want to use that for highlighting particular things that are happening live, for example. So let's get rid of that and go back, turn the graphics off and go back to there. Well, it really is incredibly powerful. There's all sorts of ways of creating new scenes and programs and scenes within those programs, and you can save all those. Here, for example, there's all these different shows. You can create a show, you can give it a name, you can set the frame rate, orientation, so on. Very, very powerful. And considering that this is a box that is no bigger than a mobile phone, okay, it's a little bit deeper, it really is quite remarkable. And just because you've got a small screen here, you say you can connect the output to a larger screen, which I've done here, like this. There we go, I've got my large screen there. There's nothing to stop you having a touch screen over here as well. So you could just have this as your main controller and then control everything using the touch screen. It really is a very powerful and compact piece of kit. It's quite remarkable what you can do with this. There's so many other options on here that I don't have the time to go through them all, but it really does belie the size of this particular little device. It's remarkable. As you can see, there's a ton of awesome stuff that you can do with this new OBSBOT Talent. And I've just scratched the surface of all the features this powerful little gadget has. It costs $1,099, and if you want a comparison, it's sort of a match for the YOLO box and to some extent the A10 Mini. And I'll put links in the video description below to all the specs and availability as soon as I know them. Compared to the YOLO box, you get similar functionality at a sort of similar price range, but most importantly, the Talent has fantastic connectivity with so many AV devices using industry standard protocols, both wired and wireless. So you can easily slot this into your existing production and studio workflow, whether it's as a solo content creator or as a larger, complex multi-camera and studio environment. I mean, you can even add background music to your different scenes, create playlists, even do instant replays, and so much more. I think this will make a massive impact on media and content production for live streaming, and it's a perfect studio and production hub for all your content workflows. Do let me know your thoughts on this fantastic new device. And if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, why not give me a thumbs up? And if you're new here, please subscribe. And if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can follow me there as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.